Okay, we're going to start talking about the factory patterns. So I'm going to leave a link to the article where I learned all this stuff in the description, so give that a read if you want. But anyways, what is a factory pattern? Well, a factory pattern is just a way of abstracting the new keyword. So instead of saying new and then an object to create an object, you just call a function. So you call like something dot create object as a function and it returns you an object. So it's just a different way of creating objects, and hence this is a creational pattern. So there's three of them that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the simple factory pattern today. And so for the example, we're going to create different files. So we're going to create JPEGs and PNGs. And of course, we're just going to simulate this stuff. So anyways, we have two form fields. We have the file name and then whichever type we want. And then we have a button to create it. And it creates the file. You can see it in the console. Here's all the stuff. Then for PNG, we can create a PNG instead. Okay, and so there's a PNG. Notice how this type of the object is different from this type. Okay, so, and then not important, but kind of cool, error handling if it's empty. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the code. Okay, so here's the code, and here's that link I talked about. So anyways, for the simple factory pattern, it consists of three things really. It has a dedicated factory class, which is just meaning that the class itself, its only job is to return objects. So anyways, we're doing that with creational methods. So that's the second part of this. So inside the dedicated factory class, we have creational methods. I'm not sure if you're supposed to limit it to one creational method or if you can have more. I'm sure you can make more, but I don't know what rules the pattern follows. But I don't think it matters that much. So anyways, we have a creational method. And so then we're passing in file name, not important. This is the important part, passing in our file type, which can be either JPEG or PNG. Okay, and then the third part of this pattern is the conditionals. So here you can see the switch conditional statement, checking what type the file type variable is. If it's JPEG, then we return a JPEG object. If it's PNG, then we return a PNG object. Okay, so again, factory patterns are used for abstracting the new keyword. So instead of typing out return new JPEG in several different places, you can just write this class and then call the new file with the JPEG parameter. So that's the point of factory patterns, but for this one we have three parts: dedicated factory class, the creational method / methods, and then the conditional statements. Okay, and at the end it returns an object. Okay, so that's the pattern. Now let's look at some of the extra stuff. So we have two objects that we're creating. We have the JPEG and then we have the PNG. So you can see they both extend the file class, and so that's right here. Not very important, just has some common data and common functionality. And then the different stuff is right here with the extension. That one's PNG, this one's JPEG. So anyways, that's not really important. So let's go ahead and look at the client code. So we're gonna have, let's look at the HTML first. So here we have the file name text input, and then we have our two buttons to select JPEG or PNG, and then we have our button to create a new file, and then we have a list of this custom component file card, which I'm not going to get into, but it just lists out all the files that we have. Okay, so back in our app component TS code, we have our factory. And so this is just an instance of the simple factory. And so we're going to use this to create files. This is just used to keep track of whichever radio button is pressed down. This is just keeping track of the file name in the text input. This is keeping track of all the files we've created. It's just an array of files. And it's used for our list here. Okay. And then here's our event handler for when this button is clicked. Okay, so what we're going to do is try to use our factory and use that creational method to create a new object according to whatever the radio button is, so JPEG or PNG, and we're passing in the file name. So we get that. Unless the file name is empty, then we're going to catch that error and alert, send an alert out. But if we do create the file, then we're going to console it and then push it into the array of created files. Okay, so that's all that's happening. So you've already seen it in the web browser, and that's really all there is to it. The important stuff again is back here in the file factory class. 3 parts: dedicated factory class, creational methods, and conditionals. That's the simple factory pattern. Okay, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.